All right, everyone, get ready, because today we are taking a deep dive into something incredible.
Incredible, it's right.
Yeah, so it's happening in Africa. The launch of this thing called the Africa Center of Competence for Digital and AI Skilling. And honestly, from the announcements and project descriptions, we're not messing around.
Ambitious, yeah, for sure. And we've even got some really cool insights from a Kenyan NGO called Nuru Trust. It gives you a real sense of, the excitement on the ground.
So the big question, can it live up to the hype? I mean, can this center really, change how Africa's public sector operates and kickstart some serious economic growth? What do you think?
Well, I think what's so fascinating about this is it's not just about teaching people how to use computers
Yeah.
or the latest software. This center is focused on giving workers in the public sector across the entire continent cutting edge skills in things like AI, data science, cybersecurity, the whole package.
Yeah, I was reading through the materials and it talked about systems thinking and human-centered problem solving. It's almost like they're trying to create this new type of public servant.
Exactly. They're not just teaching those technical skills, they're really trying to cultivate, you know, adaptable, creative problem solvers, people who can think critically and come up with innovative solutions to these complex challenges facing Africa.
Yeah, and that seems to be what has Nuru Trust so fired up about this. They really see this as a way to empower communities that have traditionally been left behind.
Right, and that's where the potential for real impact comes in. Imagine if governments across Africa could use technology to deliver healthcare, education, infrastructure
Uh,
more efficiently and effectively, especially in underserved areas. I mean, it could be transformative.
okay, so let's get into some specifics. What skills are they actually teaching at this place?
Well, it's a pretty comprehensive set. Things like data analysis, digital communication, even AI-powered automation. All the skills that could make governments more efficient and responsive to what citizens actually need.
So paint me a picture. How would this play out in a real-world scenario?
Okay, so picture this. You have a public health official in a rural village. They're able to use data analysis to track a disease outbreak in real time.
Hmm.
Or a local government is able to streamline the process for getting a business permit using an online portal. These are the kinds of tangible improvements that could make a real difference.
And this seems to align perfectly with Kenya's National Digital Master Plan, which is also aiming to boost digital literacy in public servants, right?
Absolutely. But this isn't just a Kenyan effort. The center is designed as a hub and spoke model, meaning it has the potential to expand its training programs to other countries all across Africa.
So continent-wide impact.
Yeah,
So the long-term vision here is a digitally empowered public sector driving economic growth,
sure.
turning Africa into a leader in digital governance.
Ambitious, but exciting.
It is.
Just think about the ripple effects. What could happen when you have a whole generation of public servants who are fluent in AI and digital innovation? Could it attract more investment to the continent? Could it foster entrepreneurship and help solve some of Africa's most persistent challenges?
And one thing that struck me when I was reading about this was the emphasis on creating a culture of innovation. It's not just adopting the technology. It's about using it in creative ways to find solutions.
Yeah, exactly. It's moving beyond that traditional bureaucratic mindset and encouraging a more agile, responsive, and solutions-oriented approach to governance.
But let's be real, this is a massive undertaking. How are they actually going to deliver this training on such a large scale? We're talking an entire continent.
Yeah, well, that's where the hub and spoke model comes in. The main center in Kenya serves as the central hub where they're, developing the curriculum, training master trainers. Those trainers then go out to the different countries, regions, establishing local spokes,
Right.
delivering the training.
Okay, so that makes sense. But how do they make sure that the training is actually effective? With so many different spokes, how do they maintain quality control?
That's a great question. Well, first, they've partnered with organizations like Microsoft, bringing a lot of technical expertise to the table. They're also emphasizing a hands-on approach, focusing on real-world applications rather than just theoretical knowledge.
So no death by PowerPoint.
Exactly. And to make sure they're on track, they've built in feedback mechanisms to, constantly evaluate and improve the training, making sure it's relevant, engaging, and ultimately leading to tangible results.
That's good. But we've talked a lot about the potential benefits of this project. Are there any potential, drawbacks that we should be considering? I mean, no initiative is perfect, right?
Of course, one potential hurdle is making sure the training is accessible to all public servants, regardless of their location, background,
Yeah.
or level of, digital literacy. Bridging the digital divide is a huge issue, not just in Africa, but globally.
Yeah. How are they addressing that? I mean, you can't exactly teach someone data analysis if they don't have a reliable internet connection.
Right, so they're focusing on building a network of training centers across the continent, even in more remote areas. They're also exploring these blended learning models, combining online and offline instruction to reach those who might have limited internet access.
Okay, what's our cost? This kind of training can't be cheap, especially when you're talking about reaching so many people.
Yeah, it's definitely a significant investment. But they've managed to secure funding from various sources, including the UNDP and international donors, and to ensure the program's long-term viability. They're exploring different approaches to sustainability, like public-private partnerships, maybe charging fees for some of the more advanced courses.
Okay, so they're thinking strategically about the financing, which is crucial for any project of this scale.
Absolutely. Sustainability is key.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about the potential impact of this project on Africa's economic development. This is where things get really interesting.
Absolutely. A more digitally savvy public sector could be like a major catalyst for economic growth. Improve government services, make it easier for businesses to operate. Attract foreign investment, create jobs.
It's not just about making the government more efficient, it's creating a more, favorable environment for business and innovation.
Precisely. And when you have a workforce that's equipped with these, in-demand digital skills, they're in a much better position to compete in the global economy.
It's about creating opportunities,
Yeah.
giving people the tools
Yeah.
that they need to succeed.
hmm
And who knows, maybe this could even position Africa as like a leader in the global tech scene.
It's a possibility. But it's important to remember this is a long-term project. Success will require sustained commitment from governments, private sector, civil society.
So what do you think are some of the key factors that will determine whether or not this succeeds or fails?
Well, political will is crucial. Governments need to prioritize digital skills development, create policies that actually support the adoption of technology within the public sector. It's one thing to launch a training program, it's another to create a supportive ecosystem where those skills can be put to use.
So you need to have the infrastructure
Yeah.
and the policies.
Exactly. And there needs to be a shift in mindset from seeing technology as a threat to embracing it as a tool for progress. And of course, the private sector has a huge role to play as well, providing technical expertise, creating job opportunities for those who have, acquired these digital skills.
It's all about collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
Government, private sector, educational institutions all working together
Mm-hmm.
to create this pipeline of talent that can drive Africa's digital transformation.
Exactly. Investing in the future.
So bringing this back to our listener, what does all this mean for you sitting here listening to this deep dive?
I think the main takeaway is that we're living in an era of unprecedented technological change. It's impacting every aspect of our lives, including how we're governed.
What's happening in Africa right now is a microcosm of that global transformation. It's a case study in how technology can be harnessed to address some of the world's most pressing challenges.
And it's a reminder that we all have a role to play in shaping the future. Whether you're a public servant, entrepreneur, student, or just a concerned citizen, you can be a part of this digital revolution.
How can people get involved? What are some concrete steps?
Well, first and foremost, educate yourself. Stay informed about, the latest developments in technology, how they're being applied in different sectors. There are countless resources available online, articles, podcasts, online courses.
What about those who are already working in the public sector?
Definitely take advantage of the training opportunities like those offered by the Africa Center of Competence. Develop your digital skills, look for ways to apply them. Be an advocate for innovation within your institution.
And those not in government?
Support organizations that are working to bridge the digital divide. And promote digital literacy. Volunteer your time. Donate to causes that align with your values. Even just spreading the word and having these conversations can make a difference.
Stay engaged in the conversation. Share your thoughts. Share your ideas, concerns with your elected officials, your community, on social media. Use your voice to advocate for a more inclusive and equitable digital future.
We're all in this together. The future is not something that just happens to us. It's something we create. And technology is a powerful tool that we can use to build a better world for ourselves and for future generations.
So to wrap up part one of our deep dive,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with a thought. What if this Africa Center of Competence succeeds, truly manages to empower a new generation of digitally savvy public servants? What kind of ripple effects could that create? Not just in Africa, but around the world.
That's a great question. And it's one that we'll continue to explore in part 2 of our deep dive. We'll be taking a closer look at how this initiative is unfolding, what challenges they're facing, and what early successes they're seeing.
So stay tuned.